Hello. Thank you for taking a moment to watch this video. And on this particular training, we are going to continue our configuration within Zapier to help us get information that's outside of PhoneBurner, inside of PhoneBurner, in the most effective and efficient way. I'm covering lots of different pieces to this puzzle, and I'm trying to break it down into as bite-sized pieces as possible. So I appreciate you sticking with me, and I hope that you're watching these videos in order. However, if you're not, I'm sure you're still getting a lot of great benefits from these. So let's jump into it. At this point, we've talked about how to capture contact information from an online form. We use JotForm as our example. We captured that information. If we scroll up here, captured the information. We use the text formatter to break up the first and last name that were combined together, break those up, separate those out so that we can treat those as two separate elements. And we also created a process or a method to help us scrub out any duplicates by pushing that data into a Google spreadsheet. Of course, Google spreadsheet could be replaced by a multitude of different CRMs that you may want to have that data posted into as well. And now that we've created a duplicate check so that we know that we don't have any records being duplicated as they go into PhoneBurner, because the last thing we want is somebody getting hounded by our sales team multiple times when they're not expecting it, right? So we want to capture those duplicates. So we've done that, and I hope you go back and watch that video if you haven't already. So now we need to take those records. We need to take that record that is not a duplicate that was just added to our CRM, or in this case, our Google Doc, and we need to get it added to PhoneBurner. So we're going to go down to the very bottom here, and we are going to add another step. And this time we're going to add a PhoneBurner step. So we've got PhoneBurner selected, and we're going to go ahead and select our action event. In this particular case, we're going to create a contact. Since we know it's not a duplicate, we know it doesn't exist in PhoneBurner yet because we scrubbed for duplicates on our previous step. We're going to create a new contact in PhoneBurner. So we're going to click on Create Contact, and we're going to continue. Now we need to choose our PhoneBurner account. Which account on PhoneBurner is going to receive this specific contact? Now I've already configured my PhoneBurner account here, but the first time you connect an account to PhoneBurner, you're going to have to go through some verification, some validation steps. Super easy to do. Just enter your username and password and allow the connection. So I'm going to go ahead and select my Zapier 2021 account. And so let's go ahead and continue. And now we got to set up our action. What are we doing with these records? When we get these new records, what are we doing with them? Obviously, we want to put them in PhoneBurner, but we need to define what that means. So the first thing we need to define is the folder. What folder? Where do they need to go inside of PhoneBurner? And so in this particular case, I've actually created a folder called Fresh Leads. This is the folder where I want all of these fresh leads going. And now I need to map all of this information into PhoneBurner. So the first option here, last name. I don't want to pull from the JotForm. I want to pull from the Google Sheet. And so we're going to grab the last name. Then we're going to get the first name, our email address. And then when it comes to phone number, I have 4 options I can choose from. However, in this particular case, I haven't really defined whether or not I'm receiving a home phone, a mobile phone, or anything like that. So it's up to me to decide what that's going to be. Maybe this is a mobile phone. So I'm going to choose mobile phone. And then the address information, I'm not capturing any address information, but one thing about the PhoneBurner system, when a new record is created, if there is no address, the system will fall back to the IP address of the system that is posting that record to PhoneBurner, which in this case is Zapier. So you may want to make sure that you're always putting at least something in the address field, because if you put something in the address field, even if it's not a real address, the system will fall back to the phone number as opposed to the IP address. So I'm going to put in an address of none. Now, of course, if you do have an address, just map it in there and there's no problem. So we're going to skip everything else, go down to notes. Now the notes is the notes box in PhoneBurner. Let's go to our PhoneBurner account. Let's open up a sample contact. So the notes box is this area right here. What do we want to put in there? There is some information that I may want to automatically inject into our notes field. So in this particular case, I might want to add a note, something like, and then I'm going to grab that created date, right? That date that we logged in our Google Sheet. So we've got new jot form lead created and then the date. That'll be added as a note to every record that gets created in PhoneBurner. And then for tags, in this particular case, I'm just going to create a tag. Since it's coming from jot form, I'm going to tag all of those as jot form records. Lead ID, we talked about this on an earlier step. If you're pulling data from another system, that system is probably sending some sort of a lead or contact or record ID with it to Zapier. We want to also store that lead ID in PhoneBurner. So we're going to take that same lead ID that we're storing in the Google Doc, and we're going to send it over to PhoneBurner so that it's part of the record in PhoneBurner as well. That's going to come in really handy whenever you're pulling data out of PhoneBurner. We can send not only the contact ID from PhoneBurner, but the lead ID that was sent to PhoneBurner when the record was created. And then we're going to grab the VIN. Purchase date. Now, the original owner, that was a checkbox. It was either a yes or no type of an answer in my form. Now, obviously, I don't want to choose true or false in this particular case because some will be true and some will be false. So I want to use a custom option here. And I'm going to go down here to the Find or Create row. Once again, the Google Sheet. And we're going to take the original owner information from here, which is a yes or no. It's either going to be added as yes or no to the Google Sheet, which if it's yes, it'll be checked. If it's no, it'll be unchecked when it goes into PhoneBurner. Then vehicle make. This is a drop down. Once again, just like the checkbox, I don't want to select any one of these options specifically because every one of my forms is going to have a different option selected. So once again, I'm going to do custom, and I'm going to grab the make from the Google Sheet. Once I've made all of my selections, I'm going to go ahead and hit continue. And now I can test posting this record to PhoneBurner. So I click test and review. That's going to start processing it. We're going to wait to see a success. There we go. Now let's go back here and go to our fresh leads because that's the folder where we're sending this data. You can see Sally Sample is now there. Open it up. We've got phone number, email address, tag, notes, all of the custom fields. All that information has been posted to PhoneBurner and that record has now been created. So now me or my team can start smiling and dialing and calling Sally Sample. So anyway, that's it for this particular video, but please make sure you continue to watch the rest of the training because there's still a lot of information I want to help you understand as far as getting data into PhoneBurner. Make sure you're pulling the right information out of PhoneBurner so that you can get the most out of any integration with PhoneBurner. Thanks again and happy dialing.